Please excuse my dogs walking around, they're a bit bored and a little bit noisy. When you're the friend who works in finance or the relative that works in finance, you become the go-to person for your loved ones when they're making money decisions. And it doesn't matter what decision they're making, whether it's buying a property or an investment property, thinking about retirement funds, like whatever it is. They're going to ask your opinion because they perceive that you know more than they do. And it's always nice to help, right? But when my friends or family come to me with questions, I always ask them one question, and it's got a yes or no answer. And the way that they answer this question tells me immediately whether they're very likely to achieve their financial goals over the long term or not. I'll give you an example about something that happened this week. My best friend is Jay, and I'm really proud of her because she has bought her first property. She bought a 1-bedroom apartment in a great location. And she bought that without any help from family. She doesn't have a partner, so she really bought it on her own. So it was a big deal that she's bought this property. But because she's quite a social person, she's not ready to live on her own yet in an apartment. She really likes her roommates and she wants to keep renting. So she's going to get a tenant for her apartment for now. She is extraordinarily smart. She has multiple degrees, PhD in psychology, masters, all of that stuff. But she doesn't know much about finance because she just doesn't have the experience. So this is a real interaction that we had by text message because we were both at work at the time, so we text message. Otherwise we'll never catch each other on the phone. So she said, "Hey Lils, I'm going to list my apartment for rent. Should I use a rental agent," meaning a real estate agent or a property manager, or manage it myself? I want to manage it myself to save money, but I don't know if I'm just being cheap. I have a quote at 4.4% of rent as the fee. I said, "Definitely use an agent." She said, "Thank you." I said, "Do you want me to explain how it works?" She said, "Yes, please." And so that's the question and that's the answer. Do you want me to explain it? And she said yes. So yes means that she wants to learn. She's not just looking for the fastest answer. You know, we live in this culture now. You're probably wanting to click off this video now, right? Because you just got told what the question is and the answer. But if you leave now, you've got no value from this video and you're probably just going to go click on the next clickbait title, get the answer from there and keep video hopping. So I don't know what this is even called. Headline, culture, too long didn't read culture, swipe culture. What's the other one? Information snacking. I like that one. So what I do is I always directly answer the question in a one-liner. Yes, you should get an agent, or yes, this, no, I don't think that, whatever it is, right? And then I ask this question. And if the person is like, okay, bye, tell me the answer, there's probably a few reasons for that. One is they don't care that much and they just want the answer to move on. Or two, they're just looking for validation. A lot of people have already made up their mind, but they go around asking people their opinion just to be kind of validated, to say, please reinforce this decision that I've already made. And if you have any counter arguments, they kind of don't really listen to them because they're only listening in your response for something that tells them what they're doing is already correct. Anyway, so Jay said, yes, please tell me how it works. So I explained to her how it works. I said, when you want to find a tenant, an agent will do all of the photos and marketing of the property, take people through the house to look at it, collect applications and screen them, confirm each applicant's ability to pay rent with their employer, do reference checks, and help choose the best tenant for you. Once you've chosen the tenant, they'll prepare a lease and they'll get them to sign it, collect the bond payment, lodge the tenancy with the tenancy authority, as well as give them keys and organise them moving in. While your tenant is living there, the agent will collect rent, handle inspections, manage repairs, and make sure everything stays compliant with landlord regulations. If the tenant moves out, they'll do it all again to find you a new tenant. And she said, wow, I don't want to do all of that myself. I said, yes, it's a lot, and you don't have the skills. And then I said, the price you've got is pretty good. I pay more than that at my rental properties. The fee is also tax deductible, so you'll get 47% of that price back at tax time, because I know what tax bracket she's in. And she said, I'm definitely appointing one. They're not that expensive and it seems totally worth it. I said, cool. So she didn't realize how much stuff a property manager does. And that's why she thought that she could do it herself. So this was just an information issue. And once she had the information, the decision was pretty easy. And that's most financial decisions that people are making. You just need a bit more information at a level that you can understand, and then decisions become really easy and you know why you chose that, right? Everybody can do this, and that interaction took maybe 2 minutes of her day to read my text message. I think the thing that stops people from trying is a couple of things. One, you don't have friends that you can ask these questions of, like you don't have any friends that work in finance. I mean, not everybody does. You might think that you don't have the time, or you might think that you're not smart enough to understand it and that you just want someone to tell you the answer because no way could you ever understand. And I think those are big mistakes because none of them are true. You have 2 minutes, you have tools at your disposal to figure this stuff out, even if you don't have friends to ask or you don't have the money for expert help. And everybody's smart enough because you can get anything pitched at a level that is so simple. You know, explain it to me like I'm 5 is one of these common things people say at the moment. And it's kind of true, like explain the basics to me. And then once I've got the basics, I'll ask harder questions, but just get the basics right for now, because really for most of these decisions, you only need to know the basics. So how do we learn the basics? Actually, the only time it's okay for you to not worry about learning is if you're very rich and you are surrounded by expert help. So you have a financial planner, accountants, lawyers, buyer's agents, whatever at your fingertips, right? And then you might have all the people around you who know your particular circumstances that you're paying to make these decisions for you. That's okay, but then you run into what's called a principal agent problem, which I won't cover here. But maybe then you can get away with not understanding. But if you're doing this and you're just deferring to your husband, sound bites from your friends who work in finance, or just doing what everyone else does, that's not okay. And so I think you should spend the 2 minutes to learn. And so how do you do that? If you want to make better decisions, you don't need to become an expert. You just need to start asking better questions. There's 5 questions that I think apply to nearly every situation. And if you just ask these questions, you'll have a good enough set of information to make your own decisions. 1, ask, how does this work at a basic level? Number 2, is this right for someone like me? Number 3, what could go wrong? Number 4, do I need professional help? Because sometimes you really do need to hire professionals. And 5, what are the alternatives? Sorry for my dog barking. He wants to get out the door and I won't let him. We all have all the information we could ever need at our fingertips with the internet. And particularly with new tools like ChatGPT, we get to ask, we can give it the context of our situation and it spits out very good answers. It doesn't give financial advice, but it can give you the information that you need to make your own decision. And so just typing these questions in and a bit of context about yourself will get you a really, really good start. Let's take Jay's example and type it in. So what are we going to type in? I'm at ChatGPT. I'm going to type in, I'm Jay. I am a woman in my 30s and I don't know much about real estate investing. And the reason we're giving this context is so the answer that comes back is pitched at the right level and we can understand it. I own a 1-bedroom apartment. Real estate agent has offered to manage the property. I am deciding whether to hire a property manager or do this myself. I am very busy with a full-time job and I have no real estate experience. So can you tell me our 5 questions? 1, how does this work at a basic level? 2, is it suitable for someone like me? 3, what could go wrong? 4, do I need to hire? And 5, what alternatives are available? All right, let's see, go. Thinking. Absolutely, here's a clear and practical explanation, blah, blah, blah. How does this work? A property manager acts on your behalf and handles advertising the apartment for rent, screening tenants, preparing the lease agreement, collecting rent, handling repairs and maintenance, conducting routine inspections, managing tenant issues, including late payments and breaches, ensuring the property complies with tenancy laws and safety regulations. You pay the manager a fee and they handle the rest. So pretty similar to what I had told her. Is this suitable for someone like me? ChatGPT said, yes, it's especially suitable for someone like you. You are busy with a full-time job, you have no experience in property or tenancy law, and you have no time or interest in day-to-day admin, tenant queries, or emergency repairs. True. Hiring a professional removes stress, saves time, and helps avoid costly mistakes. 3, what could go wrong? If you manage it yourself, you could pick the wrong tenant, leading to unpaid rent and property damage. You might breach tenancy laws. You need to handle disputes, repairs, and urgent issues during work hours and on holidays. You could lose rental income through vacancy gaps or pricing errors. You might struggle with paperwork or record keeping. Oh, that's one thing I didn't say to her, which this has picked up, is about pricing. So it said pricing errors. So a real estate agent would find the price where you get the most rent possible, but you can still rent the property out. And that's something I didn't mention. So this has given her even potentially a better answer than I gave her. 4, do I need to hire professionals? You don't have to. It's legal to self-manage. But for you, yes, hiring a professional is a wise move. The fee is tax deductible and it will help you avoid legal, financial, and emotional headaches. Good, that's what I said as well. What alternatives are available? You can hire a manager or DIY, which is the 2 options we were considering. Then they've said you can also hire an agent just to find a tenant, or there's an option for like a flat fee service, which is a lower cost digital version with limited human support. So that's not suitable for her. Final word, outsourcing to a property manager is likely worth it. You protect your investment, stay compliant, and avoid unnecessary stress, all for a few dollars a week. So pretty similar, right? So the difference is when she came to me, she didn't ask me all these 5 questions, but I answered pretty much all the same stuff. But if she went to ChatGPT without knowing what questions to ask, she probably couldn't have answered the question as well on her own. But with the right questions, she's got pretty much the same information in the same time, like 2 minutes, right? I just typed that in while you're watching this video. If you ask those couple of questions, and there's probably other questions you could ask that are maybe better or more suitable to your specific thing that you want to talk about. But asking the right questions and getting this information is like turning on a light in a dark room. You can see the path forward. It becomes very clear because you've got the information. You're not just in the dark having a guess. And I think that's all that you really should expect of yourself. And if you do that, you will make much, much better decisions. And could you optimize more to get an even better result by doing more work? Yes. Do you need to? I mean, that's up to you. But what I just want to highlight is you don't need to know everything. You just need to ask better questions. And just because you don't know anything about this particular topic of finance, personal finance, investing, whatever, it doesn't mean that you're stupid or you can't understand. It just means that you haven't learned it yet. Just like I don't know how to do surgery because I'm not a doctor, but yeah, I could go and learn it and probably do it if I had all the right training. It's the same kind of thing. So Jay's decision didn't come from being a real estate expert, right? She didn't even have to learn that much. She was just a little bit curious. She said, yes, please explain it to me. She read 2 minutes of text messages, and seriously, anyone can do that and just type it into ChatGPT to get started and then go from there. So give it a try and tell me in the comments if this works for you. If you're struggling with any specific decision, maybe drop it in the comments as well. And if there's a few people who are struggling with the same thing, maybe I can make a video to try and help you out. I think that's it. Sorry for my dogs running around. Hello, darling. They live here too. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.